Yo, what's going on gamers? It's Ryan 6 days a week, and today we're going over the Spectral Knight boss, which is an undead boss found in the Runes map. Now, this is primarily a melee focused boss, but of course you could do it on any class. To get to this boss, just travel to the bottom level of the Barbican module in the Runes. Alright, now before we jump into the fight sequence, let's first go over all the Spectral Knight's basic abilities and moves. I've broken this up into two lists. We have short range moves and long range moves. Let's begin with the short range list. All these moves here will trigger if you are fighting in melee range of the boss. We'll start with the diagonal slash down. This move is a counterclockwise swing, starting high and ending low. To dodge this move, you could either kite away from it or you could jump to the right. Kiting away is much easier, but I like to combine both steps just in case. Next, we have the diagonal slash up, which is the near opposite of the previous move. In this case, it's a counterclockwise swing that begins low and ends high. To dodge this, just move to the right and crouch down. It does help if you look down to dodge this move, but honestly, if you have enough move speed, you can simply just strafe to the right and you'll dodge it. These two moves come from the same direction, so they can get mixed up, but there are some key indicators that the Spectral Knight will give before committing to one of these attacks. For the diagonal slash down, look for the backwards lean that the Spectral Knight will do before swinging this attack. For the diagonal slash up, the move that you need to crouch for, the Spectral Knight will lean forward and drop its chest down. If you just pay attention for those two postures, you'll never miss a dodge on these moves. Next, we have the horizontal slash low, which comes out counterclockwise or from your right side. To dodge this move, all you need to do is jump backwards. Do note here that for this move, the Spectral Knight's sword is extended at a bit of an angle, so if you are too close to the boss when it decides to do this move, you won't be able to jump it. Try to maintain at least a spear's length of space throughout the fight. Again, just like attack number 1, the diagonal downward slash, crouching mid-air does help you dodge this move. You should get in the habit of doing that whenever you are jumping. Next, we have the high horizontal slash, or horizontal slash high. This move comes out clockwise, also from your right side, and all you need to do to dodge this is crouch and look directly down or up. Just like the diagonal slashes that we talked about previously, these two horizontal slashes appear quite similar and could get confusing, unless you look out for some key indicators that the boss is going to use one or the other. For the low swing, the Spectral Knight will raise its sword to its chest before spinning and executing the attack. It will then drop down low, very abruptly. For the high swing, or high slash, the Spectral Knight will raise its sword to cover its face, and then remain high up before executing the attack. Here are the two short-range horizontal slashes side by side so you could really see the difference. Here they are again, but slowed down even more. The biggest indicator for me is how low the Spectral Knight drops for the low swing, but of course keeping an eye out for the angle of the sword before the attack initiates helps as well. Next, we have the front thrust and vertical slash, which are the most basic of them all. You just need to strafe either left or right to dodge these moves. No crouching, ducking, or turning needed. Really, as long as you stay moving, these moves will never hit you. And finally, to wrap up the short range attacks, we have the shoulder check, which comes out very quick and isn't a problem unless you're chest hugging the Spectral Knight. So just maintain proper spacing, again about a spear's length away, and this move will not hit you. A little note before we move on to the next section, all of these short range attacks can actually be back kited with enough move speed. I know this doesn't apply to all classes, but if you're really struggling with dodging these moves, you can't just take off all your armor and strafe around the boss. You won't get hit, but you also won't have as much DPS on the boss. Alright, now the long range attacks, which trigger if you're further away, so just outside of melee range. First, we have the long rush thrust. The Spectral Knight will step back, then dash in the direction of a player's sword out. To dodge this move, all you need to do is strafe in either direction. It's super easy, there's no move speed requirement, you'll dodge this move easily as long as you're moving. The only way you do get hit is if you accidentally counter strafe as the move is initiated. Next, we have the long vertical slash. In this move, the Spectral Knight will extend its sword and slash downward. Just like the move before, all you need to do to dodge this one is strafe left or right. Again, there's no move speed requirement on this move. Just do not counter strafe and you'll be fine. Next, we have the long horizontal slash. Now, this move you do have to be cautious of. This is the only horizontal slash that comes out counterclockwise, so from your left. To dodge this move, you have to crouch and look down, and you have to do it quick. The sword gets extended to max length, so the tip is traveling at Mach 5, and even if you think you crouched and looked down in time, the server might not say so. Again, to dodge this move, just crouch and look down. Next, we have the leap attack, and it's pretty easy to tell when this attack comes out because it's the Spectral Knight's only aerial attack. In this move, the Spectral Knight will leap up and then slam down somewhere in front of it. To dodge this move, just travel to where the Spectral Knight leapt from. Move in that direction immediately. There also seems to be a slight bug with this move in particular, as the collision box of the Spectral Knight will travel at ground level opposed to in the air, so you might bump into that on the way. Just navigate around that and you won't get hit. And finally, to wrap up the long range attacks, and this last move technically isn't long range, but you do have to move pretty far to dodge it, we have the Soul Shockwave. In this move, the boss will stab its sword into the ground, and after a period of time, will release an explosion that knocks you back and deals heavy damage. To dodge this move, it's pretty simple. Just listen for the voice line and just start running away. I'm serious, get as far away as you can. The explosion damage is actually slightly larger than it visually seems. After this move, a small dead rift will be left on the ground, which deals slight ticking damage and will slow you for 30% move speed. So, try not to pass through those and keep an eye out for them as the boss spawns them. Alright, now that we got the basic moves out of the way, let's talk about the transition phase, which the Spectral Knight really only has one type. This triggers at every third missing HP, so twice in a fight. When this triggers, the Spectral Knight will say die and then charge up a long sweeping attack. This is your indicator to run as far away as you can. During the fight, it's important to stay centered to the arena so you don't get pinched in the corner, since you really can't dodge this. I believe you're supposed to be able to duck then jump, but the attacks come out so quick that it kills you anyways. If you really do run out of options and the boss is phasing, you can press G in a very specific spot in front of the boss, and the blades will pass over your head. It's risky, but it seems to work. Alright, now for the general fight sequence. If you are fast enough, which most classes will be, especially in base gear, just use the kiting strat. You can learn each individual move, but for now, as you're first learning the boss, just kite back and to the right continuously. This will let you dodge just about everything except for the long horizontal slash, in which you need to duck. When the boss does use a long range move though, that's a great time to get some damage in, especially if you don't know all the moves quite yet. Also, if you do get hit, use those long moves, especially the leap, to get a potion in and recover. I do think this boss is easiest fought solo since it makes the attacks and movement a lot more predictable. There's a lot of dashes and repositioning that this boss does, and having more than one player in the arena can mess things up. Again, the Spectral Knight does not change its behavior throughout the phases, so just repeat this process 2 more times and you'll have a boss kill. If you are finding that the boss is being contested by a lot of people, especially in the under 25 lobbies, try out the test server. It'll be more empty there. Also, I will have a separate guide for parrying this boss, since I do think the longsword is going to be the fastest way to kill the Spectral Knight. So expect that guide soon for all those fighters and warlocks out there. Oh, and also, right now, the HR version of the Spectral Knight is identical, except for the max HP and movement, so I'll have a separate boss guide out once HR is updated, since I expect there to be some more new moves specific to the HR boss. Alright gamers, thanks as always for watching. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them down in the comments below, or find me live on Twitch, since I'll probably be fighting the Spectral Knight. Good luck in your adventures, and I'll see you in the next video.